good, family? Welcome to our Modern Hoops podcast show, the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm here with the homies, the squad, Dunkman, Keith behind the camera, Brian, and TK. And we're back with another episode. We appreciate y'all joining us for season 4 and how y'all joined us for last episode. And we're getting right back to it. Draymond Green is back on the court.
Played last night. I thought we weren't going to see him till maybe ring night. Maybe. But he's back. We heard his apology. Matter of fact, y'all caught us hear some of the apology at the end of the last episode. If you want to hear our conversation about the whole punch, go check out that first season 4 episode as well. But he's on the court. Yeah.
And punishment-wise, he's only received a fine. Now, we don't know how much that fine is for. At least I don't. Maybe Dub Nation knows and Brian knows.
So this is the moment where I can... You once again, you can bring up things that are relevant, right?
We're talking about Dub Nation.
Yeah. Whatever.
We're talking about Dub Nation.
Whatever.
Do you know how much you was fined for?
I don't know off the top of my head. Thank you very much.
So you can find out.
I mean, it's a Google search. I probably can find out.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know
it might be public information. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen any news on it though.
Okay, so he was fined. I'm not aware of how much for. But he's back on the court, and a lot of people are questioning if his punishment fit the crime. And I'm gonna say no.
This is interesting because you took the stance last week that Jordan Poole's not a victim, but you're taking the stance this week that the punishment isn't severe enough.
Yeah.
I agree.
Pick a lane.
I was say either way. I agree with the punishment not being severe enough.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think he should have missed games. We're not privy to the information of how much he's been fined. I tried to look at that up earlier, but I wasn't able to find anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I 100% agree that the punishment should be more severe, but I'm not blaming the Warriors for how the punishment is playing out because of how sticky of a situation it is. We understand that fights happen in practices often, very different occurrences, of course. Yeah. I'm not saying that all of them are okay, but these are things that are generally kept internal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to keep it internal, you try your best not to suspend guys for games because that now is hurting your chances going forward. I understand it's the very beginning of the year, so it's not like you're gearing up for the playoffs, but you still every time want to be able to put your best effort and forces out there on the floor. So you got to think about trying to repeat. You got to think about all these situations. I don't know how much that fine was, but geez, it got to be a hell of a lot for it to be just a fine and everybody be okay with it. But yeah, I'm in a complete agreement with you. It wasn't severe enough.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. Like, I think there's a space where if anyone can start the season missing a guy,
it's the Golden State Warriors.
And I think that's because I think they already understand what they have. They already understand how good they are as a team when they're fully functioning. And so Draymond missing, 10 games, I don't think is that damaging to
my counter,
the team.
We're not talking about
but it is damaging to him and his game checks.
We're not, for sure. We can put that even aside of his money. Like when you do something like that, I'm not going to talk about the money that you're possibly going to cost yourself or even could have cost yourself for years to come down the line. Not saying that you had a max lined up for you, but who knows what this is going to go starting forward. But as you mentioned, it might not affect them at the beginning of the year in terms of talent because you have guys like Kuminga who's just going to get more minutes and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But they just want to chip. So what's that first game? Ring night. That's the whole
against
issue
his best
with
friend.
This. Against his best friend, LeBron James. So are we suspending Draymond during the ring night ceremony? Because it will have to be. What are you going to do? Serve the suspension after the first game?
Yeah.
To avoid all of that? That's weird. I think that's weaker than just fining him, and letting him play continuously. So I think in terms of suspension, if you weren't going to suspend him or weren't trying to because of ring night, I do think this is probably the best way to go forward initially, and just understanding that on the back end and our future is probably going to be without him. But if for some reason they were going to let him play ring night and then try to suspend him, I think that is asinine. Like that is
I really thought that's where Golden State was going with this.
That's wild.
I really thought they were going not letting him play for ring night, the suspension. I thought they were going to suspend him for ring night and maybe some extra games.
Oh, maybe some extra games?
Like, that's where I thought this was going, because all signs pointed to it. Like, the locker room was upset with them. Coach was upset with them. Front office is upset with them. Like,
fans, media.
Like, Golden State fans.
Everybody but his mama.
There was everybody.
Everybody but his mama.
To his mom, dog.
A mama's love, man.
Mom defending him
everybody
about
but his
bad
mama.
games in the finals. Punching his teammates.
She backed down on this one, though. She deleted her Twitter.
The whole Twitter?
She's off. They started coming for her neck, and she said, I'm out.
Dang, I ain't see that.
Yeah, Draymond don't got enough haymakers for Twitter.
Facts. But yeah, like, in that regard, I was like, I thought the severity served it. And for people who are listening to me, they're like, Greg, you sound like you're going back and forth. No, Poole is not a victim to me. I want to be clear. He's not a victim. Should have put his hands up. You should have realized.
He was just severely lacking. That's what you
severely lacking. Like, severely lacking.
This
like,
is sad.
I like the line. I like where the line was drawn.
But I definitely think, like, as soon as you enter someone's airspace, like, he does have some culpability in terms of you should have control over yourself to regard. Whether that guy is ready to defend himself or not, you should have some wherewithal, some awareness, and he lacks that. And so we have to. No, you're not going to be here for ring night. Like,
no, I am in agreement.
You're not gonna
what
play.
What should have happened? He should have got suspended for ring night. And like, I could care less. And you should have gotten suspended for ring night. Let him feel it.
And so I think that would have resonated with the fan base. And I think NBA. I think the NBA has labeled Golden State as this forward-thinking,
progressive,
brand
NBA leftist organization.
Like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're leading the pack in terms of how organizations should be ran. And I think they missed it on this one, honestly. Where you at, B?
The lack of consistency is kind of the big thing. Like I said, we all remember when KD and Draymond got into it. Draymond actually missed games for that. Mm-hmm. No punch thrown. That's just a really heated conversation that happened on the bench.
Right.
So the level of consistency is one of the big concerns. But I do think this kind of more so lends itself to showing, one, how mature Jordan Poole is.
Because he had to sign off on this.
He had to. Like, there's no ifs and buts about it. He had to be the one that said, yeah, it's okay. So I think it shows a level of maturity for Jordan Poole that I think many people would have thought he was lacking, if we're going to be truthfully honest. And I think this also goes to show how much Steph Curry has Draymond's back. Because while the team and everybody can lose faith in Draymond, and I'm sure Steph has to some extent.
Yeah.
There's no way this happened without Steph Curry say so. And Steph Curry being the one in Draymond's corner saying, yeah, like, we can work through this as a team. We don't need him gone. He needs to be here. We know Steph Curry has done that multiple times for Draymond throughout his career. He did that with the KD and Draymond situation. Yeah. Like, people forget that. Like, when that whole situation blew up, Steph Curry was hurt at the time, wasn't with the team, showed up a week later to kind of mend all the fences. From the reports and things that I've heard, like, Steph Curry was the one that mediated the meeting between Draymond and Jordan Poole. Like, he's the one that's made sure, like, these conversations have taken place. Things have kind of still run as smoothly as they possibly can. So, with that being said, he punched the man to the moon.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to, like, fathom him not getting any suspension. This is why you've known me my entire life, and I've always said I've never wanted to coach professionally.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't handle this. Like, as a coach, I don't care. Any of my high school guys that watch this, you punch somebody at practice, you're not coming to the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're not coming to the following game.
That's automatic.
I can't.
Principles.
It's automatic.
Principles, ethics, morality, however you want to phrase it. I can't fathom that. When I was coaching college, same thing.
Yeah.
But professionally, they operate by a different set of rules. These are all expected grown men. These are millions of dollars walking throughout this facility.
Yeah.
As much as the coach is the leader and the coach, I guess, at the end of the day, if the team wants something, the coach can only go but so far. Yeah. Like, you don't, like, we've talked about it at length about a number of people throughout NBA history. Like I said, we focus on LeBron James. When the best player on the team doesn't want to coach, the coach has no say-so in that scenario. Yeah, like, it's just, that's the way things work in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of those things. I firmly believe, just from watching a lot of Steve Kerr's interviews about this and his body language, I think he's fed up with Draymond. Like, I think he's over it. Yeah, I remember him and Draymond have had beef for years.
For years.
Now, Grant, I think Steve does recognize how valuable Draymond is. Mm-hmm. He knows Draymond is almost irreplaceable to some extent. But I think he is honestly fed up with his antics. I think he's fed up with a lot of the, I don't even know what you would call it, the dramatics, the flair, the podcast aspect. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Steve Kerr is honestly over it. But Steph Curry says, nah, we gotta figure this out amongst ourselves. Jordan Poole's cool with it, coach. Like, things are under control. We're gonna be okay. And Steve Kerr just has to kind of sit back and say, all right, if that's how y'all feel, y'all grown. We'll keep this amongst ourselves and we'll handle it accordingly. So, yeah, the punishment fit the crime? No. But I will say, if Jordan Poole signed off on this and he's legitimately okay with it, I understand the decision.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Jordan Poole was pressured into this decision, that's where it's going to become iffy. And that's something that could lead to bigger problems down the road. But if Jordan Poole's legitimately okay with Draymond Green being back, here we are.
And some people are saying that. Some people kind of point to that last preseason game versus Denver. Thank you. You see him pregame, do the little handshake, dap up, show love. So from what it looks like. So a lot of Golden State fans and some other outside lookers are like, hey, well, I guess they're okay. But I think Jordan Poole also knew that he was also about to get 4 years, $140 million. And that makes me happy too. I'm willing to dap up some people.
Smile.
It's easier to smile.
140 million.
140 million up. So
I will say that whole thing, like the dap up, like, I mean, we've all been there. Like, you can dap somebody up that you know you're not really messing with.
That doesn't really mean too much to me.
Exactly. I think the real thing is going to be the first time Jordan Poole throws the ball out of bounds and Draymond tries to yell, is going to be that indicator of how cool y'all really are. Because
how receptive is Jordan Poole?
To that criticism now is like going to be the big thing. Because that could easily be Jordan Poole looking at him like, yo, I'll get my get back right now. Like,
not big game.
Like, big game. When you least expect it.
We told you it's forever.
It's forever, bro. I can get it back at any moment.
We've all been athletes. Like, that about in the middle of a heated game, you're going back and forth.
We down by 20
You
anyway.
make a bad turnover, so you're already frustrated. And here comes Draymond Green, who 3 months ago knocked you into the ceiling. And he's like, man, you got to be better.
Yeah, nah, dog. Down by 20 to Sacramento Kings.
Yo, like, you about to go, bro.
That'll do it.
Fine.
Like, all that will add up real quick. So that's going to be those moments where it's going to really show how mature Jordan Poole really is, or how cool things really are.
And I agree to an extent. I think there is a space where Jordan Poole has been labeled as this, or just childish.
Yeah, I'd say childish.
Yeah, I'll go childish.
He's a youngin'.
And I think he's aware. I think anyone who comes into Golden State is immediately aware of the situation and how good it really is here, which makes Draymond Green's actions a little crazier. Because if you knew how good you had it here, you wouldn't be trying to
destroy it.
If you knew how good this situation was, you wouldn't be trying to force your way to the Lakers. Reportedly. Reportedly.
Very heavily reported.
Reportedly.
Stephen A. said on national TV. We don't need to skirt.
I mean, we were talking about it as soon as the punch happened. Like everybody went up. Draymond, Trey Young said it. Yeah, like
it's a very well known opinion around the league that Draymond Green wants to get to the Lakers in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, play with LeBron before he leaves.
Oh, it's gonna be so bad to watch.
So shout out to the Lakers, man.
No, don't shout them out.
Oh, not shouting out. Oh, so you brought it up, not me. Russell Westbrook's on the bench now. Thank you, Jesus.
All right. If you want to bring it up, I'm still rooting for Brody. I'm still rooting for Brody.
I think he can
Darvin Ham
be a six man.
Darvin Ham said he wasn't benched. He said it's a realignment. That sounds
realignment. Like very fancy speak for go home and don't come back.
Yeah. He says realignment. All right, America.
Sound real bench like.
You haven't been fired. You've been laid off.
I realigned. You started lineup without you in it. Like
realigned it so he can be more effective
on the bench.
More effective in the same amount of minutes he'll play
off the bench.
Off the court.
As far away from LeBron James as possible.
He'll be on the court, same amount of minutes, just realigned.
Leading a second unit without
so he can get up
the starters, or at least not LeBron James.
Man, whatever, dog. Let's talk about something else. But yeah, we're gonna have to stay tuned with this. The Golden State Warriors will be at full strength come
opening
night versus the Lakers. That'll be interesting. Should be a blowout.
The Lakers are probably going to win, and then it's going to be just chaos on the timeline for no reason whatsoever. For whatever.
Yeah. We'll see, though. We'll see, and we'll keep you tuned in all this. But once again, shout out to Jordan Poole. Got 4 years, $140 million. Mm-hmm. Well deserved based upon what he's shown over the last couple of years. And I really expect nothing less from him. Like, he's going to be the next guy up.
He's going to be the next
guy. So, for Golden State. Let's move on. Eastern Conference. Last week we did our Western Conference preview and predictions. Today we're doing our Eastern Conference preview and predictions, but we're also going to give y'all our NBA awards. And with that, guys have made some questionable, and when I say guys, I mean me as well. Made some questionable calls based upon our list.
Ooh, mine's right.
I think.
All right. Let's keep
pretty
it
solid. I think.
I didn't honestly look at y'all's like
between
that.
Any of these three lists that made no sense was the Mavs at one. That's the only thing that's made no sense so far on these lists.
Haters, all of them. They'll see. They're all C. That's all I got to say about that.
I hope so.
All right. So with those lists, I don't even got them up in front of me.
I do.
Oh, you do? All right, read them off for us, B. Eastern Conference.
Starting with Tamon. So he's got 76ers at 1, Nets at 2, Bucks at 3, Celtics at 4, Cavs at 5, Heat at 6, Hawks at 7, Raptors at 8, Bulls at 9, and Wizards at 10.
Okay.
Greg, you have Boston at 1, Miami at 2, 76ers at 3, Bucks at 4, Nets at 5, Cavs at 6, Hawks at 7, Raptors at 8, Wizards at 9, Bulls at 10.
Okay. 7 through 10 we here.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think we all picked like the same 10 teams. Like, we're all very much.
I mean, yeah, because you know who's tanking in the East like hard.
Fair.
Yeah.
So I got 76ers at 1, Celtics at 2, Nets at 3, Bucks at 4, Hawks at 5. Heat at 5, Hawks at 6, Cavs at 7, Raptors at 8, Bulls at 9, Wizards at 10. We all have the Raptors at 8. So
shout out Raptors at 8.
Shout out. And the sad part is I watched him last night and I'm like, Scotty Barnes looks like he took another step.
All right. I mean, the team didn't collectively.
The team is good though.
Yeah, they seed in the East
Pascal,
good.
Scotty, OG, like that team is good.
They're 8th seed in the East.
If that's the case, just call me unbeliever. Like, I mean, if they're any higher,
we all just sat here and agreed that the Raptors are the 8th seed. They're the 8th seed. I'm not going to flinch off that because of half of a game.
I just watched them last night. I'm like, oh man, they might get the 6.
Oh yeah, I mean stuff like that can happen. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah, no, we all have Raptors at 6. We all have Wizards or Bulls at 9 and 10, like in some shape or form. So I mean, that's there.
I almost had the Hornets into those playoff spots, and then when LaMelo did turn his ankle, I was like,
why'd you try to act like I put a hex on him, man?
No, you kind of
What?
You
Yeah, I
kind of
don't-
said that. Like
I don't know what else to say.
you definitely said
You could
if-
clip it and then like put it in like black and white so like people understand it's an old one.
Oh, shut up.
And it happened that night, I think.
Did it happen that night?
It was either that night or the next day. It was like,
it was like 2
in
days
24
later, bro.
hours.
It was like 2 days later, I think.
Sheesh.
It was wild.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm
It
sorry.
was wild.
Sorry, LaMelo. But hey, Victor,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
running mate.
So
Lost Miles Bridges.
but no, I think Washington is one injury away from doing the same. If
Oh, yeah, for sure.
if Bradley Beal goes down again, like
The fact that Brad Beal has a no trade clause is ridiculous.
No, he's the only one in the NBA. It's wild.
It's crazy because I think this is why. I don't know if he had the foresight of knowing that Victor was about to hit the draft, but this might be the reason he did.
Oh, no. I think he did. When he was signing, I figured he was going to pull something like this. You don't re-sign with the Wizards and not have a no trade clause. I mean, when
wild.
John Wall in his contract, he had trade kickers in it. So, yeah. You understand when you're dealing with a poor
kicker and a
franchise.
kicker and a no trade clause are
Are
like
two different things, but John Wall
two
had the
levels of
craziest
ridiculous.
that is the
trade
crazy.
kicker ever,
it was
bro.
crazy.
Like it was
But, like-
wild. It was almost as bad as a no trade clause, and to some franchises,
No,
A
facts.
dude.
Facts.
like it was
I
ridiculous.
mean, if you don't want to pay money, then yeah, I guess that would be true. But like a no trade clause for a dude who's never even led his team past an 8 seed is ridiculous. Like that is just wild.
Show
to
me the money.
fathom to me.
Hey man, I hear
Show
you.
me the money.
I hear
Like
you.
at least Wall got them to a 4 seed and a playoff win.
That's fair. I mean, I get it, but
What else are you gonna do?
I mean, no trade clause. Like we're still gonna give you max money, but like,
he said nah. He said forget all that.
Okay,
y'all
like,
gonna try and ship me somewhere I
Brad-
want to be.
hey man, no, this is when the franchise really had to have some cojones. Like, yo, like.
I think they should have just been traded Brad, but that's a whole
But
different
like,
discussion.
if he really was going to turn down a full max contract because of a no trade clause, bye, Brad. Like, sorry, bro. Like, we're giving you full max guaranteed contract.
yeah, the most
for-
money you can get out here.
If that's what you're going to turn down,
Yeah.
sure.
But don't ship me to Detroit.
Hey man, we got to do what's best for the franchise.
Like that's
and
what
I
he's
can argue you have not been what's best for the franchise. So,
thinking. Hey,
I mean, the franchise hasn't been what's best for the franchise, so I don't want to put that too much on Brad. Like we were saying that
That's
he
fair.
underachieved.
he
I
has.
think he's-
He has
I think
underachieved.
I think he's underachieved. But what was the level of achievement that he was supposed to reach? That's my whole point.
That's
enough.
fair.
Fair enough.
That's fair. That's fair. So yeah.
The goal was
Washington
boo-boo
Wizards are
anyway.
Definitely
So,
one of those teams that like
yeah,
all of this could just
Yeah,
apart.
One bad game.
One injury, and they're in the Victor sweepstakes.
yeah.
So we both got Bucks at 4, Greg. What's the logic there? Because I know why I feel that way, but
I think the Bucks know what they are. I think they're not going to have their gas on for the full season. I think that's I don't think they took a step back personally. I think as a roster, I don't think they took a step back. They got to keep guys healthy going into the playoffs.
that's fair.
Like Chris Middleton went down, and that essentially shifted everything for them. So they need to make sure everyone's healthy going in. I don't expect Giannis to have like quote unquote minutes restrictions, but he's not
I
gonna.
mean, he never plays a ton of minutes.
He never
in the regular
plays-
season.
Yeah, he plays
Anyway.
what 31, 32.
33, if that.
That's because that's really all he needs to play.
Get him out the way.
You
Get him out the way.
dominate, So I mean,
So he doesn't need. We don't need you out here playing 38 minutes. So, I think that's what's going to be for them. But they're my favorite. And that's why I highlighted them the way I did. They're my favorite to come out of the East. So they'll have the 4th seed, but I don't look at them as the.
Yeah, I understand.
I did the same thing with Golden State. Like,
yeah, because we're predicting seeding. We're not ranking a tier list.
yeah.
I'm not high on them.
Ooh, explain.
I think they did take a step back. The roster did anyway.
Okay, I'm listening.
Like losing PJ, like they're getting older and older, but they're not replacing anybody. Like I said, even like losing a guy like DiVincenzo Grant, they lost him a year ago, but it's like the roster just keeps getting older
Mm-hmm.
and they're losing less and less. Like it feels like they're really just banking on Giannis and Chris Middleton recreating what happened in that championship run, which was amazing and it got you a chip. But like
There's something that fell into place for it to happen. I agree.
Yeah.
even the idea of like things fell into place. But even like the idea of like, do you really expect Chris Middleton to be prime Kobe in the fourth quarter again? Because that's what happened during that run. Like, it was crazy. Like
he was closing games left and right.
Like, it was ridiculous what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's what you're banking on, that's just so iffy to me. And I feel like the bench is like really not good anymore. It's just Bobby Portis. Like, Pat Connaughton is a guy like we all kind of like him, but like, is he really a needle mover? Or is he just a guy who kind of just fits in the system, like does things that they ask him to do?
It's not that bad. I mean, okay, all right. You lost DiVincenzo, cool, but
lost PJ.
PJ, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like Pat Connaughton. No, he's not like the quote unquote X factor coming off the bench. That's okay. Like, you got Joe Ingles.
Coming off an ACL tear, and he's like 35.
Yeah, he's 35, but still can space the floor, still can get shots up. Like,
can he? He couldn't hit the bars out of a barn in Utah last season.
That was last season. Well, everyone's deserving of one down year. And so
I'm just saying, when your down years start coinciding with your age and then you add an ACL tear on top of that.
That's fair.
That's interesting to me. That's tough to bank on.
That's fair. I still consider him a shooter.
I feel you.
So I consider like him being able to space. And then you have young boy Jordan Noir.
They never trust him.
Which I think might change this year.
I hope so.
Because we saw flashes of him last year. It was like, you know what? This boy can hoop.
Yeah.
And so I think there should be a space for him where he can get some more time and play on the court. You got George Hill. Like, yes, they're old. This is an older roster for sure. Older roster. But I think the pieces mesh enough to where Giannis being in his prime, Chris Middleton being Chris Middleton as that number 2 guy can definitely get through the Eastern Conference. Because I still think, like, and we'll get to all of it, the Eastern Conference can implode on itself, like, really easily.
That's fair.
And which points to the 76ers and Brooklyn.
That's fair.
So it can definitely implode on itself. And next thing you know, you're looking at like, well, the only mature team left here, because Cleveland's too young.
Celtics.
That's why I do think the Celtics will be up. But it'll be,
and the Heat. I still think of like a mature, like we're just talking about maturity. Like, they're a mature team. Now, do they have the firepower?
And that's
maybe
where
not, but they've always been a tough matchup for
and
the
that's
Bucks.
where you start separating like the wheat from the tare, in that regard. Like, now you start to like pull like which one's which, and who falls in which ballpark. So they're my favorite. They're my favorite. Yeah, they're older. I think Giannis is just that dude, honestly. I think Giannis is that dude. I think if Chris Middleton's healthy, I think all bets are off when it comes to this team, because they give me playoff vibes. They give me like, we can get through 7 games because we know how to adjust and adapt. And we're mature. We're experienced. So I think they just give me that vibe.
That's fair. Like I said, I mean, they are champions. So I mean, I'm somebody I never like to count out a champion. Like, once you've been to the mountaintop, you know how to get there again.
Yeah.
I just look at this roster. I'm just like, how many of these guys would I actually trust in a 7-game series? And I'm like, 6.5, maybe. Like, it's just, it's interesting for me. Like, I really need to see Jordan Poole take another step. Like, he's the one I'm like, they really need him to take another step forward, because otherwise this roster to me just seems so thin.
That's fair.
We'll see.
But yeah, so one seeds. We got
me and Tamala got 76ers. You got Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Boston. The reason why I picked Boston, the reason why I still very high on them as a team, I think there are, if anybody can lose a coach and still have the confidence of being like, we got to the finals and we're that team, it's Boston. Those guys are highly confident going into this year, whether their coach is there or not. I think they got their structure down. And so they don't really have to go out and do too much different from what they've already done. And they're young enough to go out and just lay waste to the rest of the NBA if they wanted to, which is why when we get to my MVP, you'll see why I have Jason Tatum there as well. Because they showed they can do this. The confidence is there. You got additional pieces like Malcolm Brogdon
That's the only one.
So you got that piece where it's like, oh, well, now we've added.
Unless you want to talk about Blake Griffin,
a true point. I mean, Blake is a
Blake. Yeah, Blake
is a body. Blake is a body, and he's old and he's not necessarily what he used to be, but
I'll take Blake on a vet, man.
Yeah, like I don't think he hurts a roster. Yeah. So it's not like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that to him.
Yeah.
I guess I feel like I look through these lenses, especially when we're talking about these teams that we are talking about our title. This is always the reason I get upset with Laker fans when they talk about Russ, because when I think of a championship roster, that's how I view every move you make. How does it win a championship? I'm not looking at a move thinking about how it wins us 2 games in the regular season. Blake Griffin, to me, doesn't help them win a championship. It helps them get through a season.
And I think
that helps you win a championship.
I think that's a factor. Like when you got a guy like Robert Williams, and I know like Blake is not a defender at all, but you got a guy like Robert Williams who's been on the injury list a little bit. And I think he just got his knee drained.
Yeah.
Before the season started.
Yeah, he's out right now.
So like you got guys like that, like that we need to be mindful of. No, we need bodies back there. So we ain't gotta throw our Jason Tatum on 4s and 5s by accident. Like, we got
I guess I just view it like and granted, I mean, once again, I don't know who they were looking at. I don't know what their scouting partner is like. I would have tried to find somebody better than Blake Griffin, or at least fits our defensive scheme better than Blake Griffin does. Like that's just how I view it.
It's not a lot out there.
I feel you. Like I do think we often underestimate like how much talent is out in the world.
In the world is one thing. Out readily to plug into an NBA team attempting to try to go to a championship is another. Because I could definitely find a better defender than Blake Griffin out there to join the team. Now, are they already adjusted to NBA style and pace? If we're looking at international, do you already have a connection with them?
A great organization, though. Like a great organization, you bring in people who, yeah, it's a wild card. Gary Payton Jr. is a wild card. Like how many Spurs players do we talk about that was like we had never heard of, and you just plugged them in, and it was like,
but I feel like some organizations have had the luxury to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna put him on the back burner and let him develop. Excuse me. I don't think the Celtics necessarily have that this year in terms of needing somebody on the court to play. I can't put somebody out there who's still learning NBA basketball because of maybe they've been playing overseas the entire time. Maybe they're just young in age for a variety of reasons. I would rather have somebody who I understand, knows, and trusts the game style, play, situations, and things like that. So I think when you think about,
I feel like you went low risk. I'm thinking high reward.
Yeah, you're thinking high reward. I'm thinking I'll be able to plug in and trust almost immediately that they can do.
Who can be a
this
professional
job.
here?
Yeah,
who can be a professional?
Because I don't need you to grow past what I'm about to ask you to do here, Blake Griffin. So I feel like
I'm always looking for somebody to grow past what
I respect that. I respect that. I do respect it. But right now, especially with the Celtics flipping coaches, attempting to try to make a run again this year, I don't think that's necessarily the best bet. Now, could have they gotten something better than Blake Griffin? Yes, but I think for what they needed, there isn't too much on the market that's better than Blake Griffin for them.
That's fair.
And so I think all that's great. Like all those good points on both ends in terms of low risk or shooting, find that next gem that's floating out there overseas possibly or in the G League. I think all that's fair. I think Boston is just, I think even when losing the finals, I think they're still floating with a level of momentum that they could bring into this season and just show itself even further. Like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum are going to have a field day. I think.
Now people force them to go left.
I think that might change. They went into all season and they watched their own tape. Like I think people watch their own tape and they know like, all right, this what happened to us. We can't let this happen again. Especially when you get to the finals. You get to the finals and
you're right.
They picked that one thing on you for 6 games. Come on, dog. Like
I'm with you.
So. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown definitely give me that energy. Like, we're not coming back the same way y'all saw us. So, they're going to have a field day, I think.
They're like I said, they're probably one of the few teams that's like really ready to hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. They have their system even without the coach. Like everything's still kind of put in place. Mm-hmm. Once again, I think the coaching thing is going to more so hurt them in the playoffs in the regular season.
Exactly.
Which is why I think I had them at 2. But like I said, I think they're easily like a really good regular season team, long as like the effort's there. And like I said, as long as guys don't clash in the locker room, like I think they're fine.
Yeah.
But the 76ers, I know me and Tamon both had them as the 1 seed. Why? What's your reasoning?
I think the 76ers are going to come out with a lot to prove early on individually from all of their main participants. When we talk about Joel Embiid, maybe feeling slighted for an MVP, and I'm not saying that he was slighted. I 100% understand that Jokic did like more than deserved an MVP and had an MVP season. Even though if you go back last year, I did throw in my hat with Embiid. But you're going to come back with a different kind of mindset. James Harden, is going to come back healthier, seems a little bit more in shape. But I think the more the player I'm leaning towards for the 76ers to have a crazy impact this year is Tyrese Maxey. Especially when you come off the playoffs where I think they had like 12 games. He averaged 20. He had a 30-point performance a couple of times, I believe, like twice throughout those playoffs. I think his averages were like 23 and 3. He was facilitating, especially when James Harden was dropping the ball on both ends offensively, where you didn't want to put a dime on him on FanDuel. So when you're talking about, no, seriously, like he was not good money. So when Tyrese steps into that role, and you hear all these talks, arguably about whether he's now their second best player or their second most important player, I think they're gonna expand on him and his role. I think he's gotten that confidence under him throughout that last season. So the 76ers pushed to their 1 seed doesn't necessarily make them
the favorite.
They're not the favorite for me coming out the East, but I think throughout the course of the regular season, they're probably going to be one of the tougher teams to run into night in and night out throughout the East. They might be the most consistent in my eyes throughout the regular season.
I agree with all of that in terms of being one of the more consistent teams. And probably being one of the biggest headaches during the regular season, because Joel Embiid by himself is a problem.
It's a problem.
I do think James Harden came back in better shape. I do think that this is his opportunity. He took a pay cut. He seems to have a grasp on what he needs to do in this situation. I was watching the training camp, all
NBA
access,
NBA TV channel.
Yeah, I was watching that, and I was watching how Doc was talking to him, and I'm like, okay, this feels different a little bit.
He definitely feels like he's more ready to be like the point guard, for this unit,
right? And so, I think with that mindset and with that understanding, we might get the best version of James Harden we've seen in a while. Since Houston, since Houston for sure.
Yeah.
So, Tyrese Maxey, I'll just go out and say it. I was wrong about James Harden and Tyrese Maxey fitting. I was wrong because I said I don't think you could stick Tyrese Maxey in a corner and expect him just to get shots up and be okay with that. Loud and wrong. Loud and wrong. Bro, you put him anywhere, apparently. He's offensively.
He shot 43% from 3 last year, which is crazy.
He shot 37% in the playoffs from 3.
Yeah, and I don't even want to know the numbers off just catch shoots alone. Like catch shoots alone, I'm pretty sure it was 39, like 38, 39.
No, these are decent percentages. And mind you, like, especially when the games ramp up and we're talking about how he performed in the playoffs, when that's way more pressure and your numbers go down, to still be able to put up the numbers that he was at that age, at that
with that situation.
Yeah, I'm about to say that situation in his career where you're not expected to just be able to have a free flowing offense through you. You're efficient. That's what we're really trying to say. For his position and his predicament. You're outpacing what we thought that you were able to do. And mind you, I was on the Tyrese Maxey train saying, oh, he's going to be fine in terms of creating offensively, but I didn't think it was going to be this either. I didn't think I was going to envision him having being like the Jordan Poole of the Eastern Conference for me. And I'm not saying
they're synonymous, but in terms of role, in terms of how they're going about it.
Exactly.
I get it. You about to say?
No, I was just like, the reason I have the 76ers as the 1 seed, I think they have the most complete roster in the East right now. Like I said, I do think James Harden is going to have a bounce back year. I don't think he'll ever be what he once was. But I think he's going to have a bounce back year. But I'm fully buying into the Tyrese Maxey stock. Like, I think he has star to superstar potential. And like I said, if you watch him in this preseason, it looks like he took another step.
Yeah.
Like, he looks a little bit quicker, a little bit bigger, like he hit the weight room. Like he looks like he's thoroughly ready to be like the number 2 scorer for this team. And then adding, like, not even say adding, you have Joel Embiid, who, like I said, we can sit here. I have him as my MVP pick, like as we'll talk about, but I think he is finally going to get his due. And I think he is honestly just going to like run roughshod over the Eastern Conference, because if we're going to be quite honest, there is no big in the Eastern Conference that can touch Joel Embiid outside of Giannis. Like, that's it. Everybody else is looking for a big man to compete with Joel Embiid. And now, if Tyrese Maxey takes that step, if James Harden is who he is, just let's just say James Harden is an elite point guard. Yeah. That's all they ask him to be an elite point guard. 18 and 11 or 16 and 12. Be Steve Nash, essentially. If he does that with Tyrese Maxey getting you anywhere from 20 to 24, Joel Embiid's getting you 28 to 30, you still have Tobias Harris, who granted we all kind of laugh at because he's gotten some contracts that don't make sense. But like, he's still a 18, 20-point scorer in this league, like without question. Like, he's a bucket. You add PJ, like they added guys like DeAnthony Melton, who many people would like, you don't think about, but DeAnthony Melton's one of the best defenders in the league.
And he was very pivotal for Memphis.
He was. Like,
very pivotal.
They added Montrezl Harrell, who granted, I've always hated the idea of like Montrezl Harrell was going to be like a guy to carry a second unit. But like, if all you're asking Montrezl Harrell to do is come in and give you 10 minutes where Joel Embiid rest, I'll live. Like, I could be okay with that.
Yeah.
Daniel House, another guy they picked up for the bench, elite 3-and-D. I'm not saying elite, but really good 3-and-D dude. Like, still got Matisse Thybulle over there. Like, this team is good from 1 through 10 almost. And last year, that was the opposite. They were really only good 1 through 6. So I think they're in a spot where they can actually make some changes. They can play in different styles. Like, it's going to be interesting to watch this work. Now, are they my favorites? I don't know. I don't trust Doc Rivers or James Harden. I'm sorry.
No, I don't blame you.
It
makes sense.
It's just hard for me to trust that.
All right, let's get to the elephant in the room then. Brooklyn Nets. Where you got the Brooklyn?
I got them third.
Third. I got
you have them 5, and Tamar got them second.
All right.
I like the way they look in preseason. I'm not gonna lie.
I think everybody likes the way they looked in preseason. Like they've been playing pretty well in preseason, objectively speaking.
Grant, I don't think they're really playing well, but I just like some.
No, the way it looks.
Just the way they're trying to.
Nobody cares about the winning or the scores really in preseason. It's the way everything flows and looks.
I like the way they're kind of trying to use Ben Simmons a little bit. I still hate the possessions where he dribbles the ball up the court, passes it one time, and then just stands in the dunker spot. Like, to me, that's just so. It just makes no sense. Not even boring. It just doesn't make sense.
I don't think you're utilizing
it. You're not utilizing him. It's just like, oh, well, he's going to dribble up the court.
Here, bro.
Kyrie comes off a floppy one time. He passes and he stands in a dunker spot with Nick Claxton standing in the other dunker spot. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway. But no, like, I think, once again, I have the infamous tweet where I kind of break down this roster. I still kind of stand by it. This roster is good. And wild take, maybe. This might be the greatest shooting roster ever. Just pure shooting ability.
Yeah, Kyrie.
Talk about talent.
Kyrie,
just pure
Joe,
shooting
KD,
ability.
Patty, Seth, like, yeah,
like
TJ,
like yeah. If we're just talking pure shooting ability, this might be the greatest shooting roster ever.
Yeah.
So
Ben definitely brings the average down, but I mean, I get it.
Not if he doesn't shoot.
Fair. I mean. When I talk about teams imploding, I think of Philly and I think of Brooklyn.
Of course.
And while I don't expect them to implode.
Yeah, you kind of do. You got method.
Yeah, I do. I mean, let me get to it. This Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving thing, KD thing, we've shown flashes where it can work. The question is, how receptive is Ben Simmons to that off-ball action? Like, what happens when he doesn't get to bring the ball up the court? You know, what happens when he doesn't get to be the quote-unquote point guard he wants to be? Because then all bets are off here. Now you essentially got a situation that looks very similar to a situation happening in LA.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
you think he'll pull a Westbrook, is what you're saying? where he'll set screens for like 3 games and he'll just stop.
Yeah, very much so. And so Ben Simmons, and while he is a great defender, and I think that's where his biggest impact will be, if he is a roadblock on the offensive end, it's going to frustrate a guy like Kevin Durant because he does not have patience for that kind of thing. Kyrie doesn't care. Just give him the ball, get out the way. But KD, who I think is to some extent a perfectionist in terms of how the offense is ran, how he wants to score the ball, how he thinks the team should score the ball, is a savant, smart, understands what he wants to do. But we've all agreed he's not looking to be a leader, America. He's not looking for that. He can get frustrated with this situation really fast. And now you could look at a situation where this isn't what it was supposed to be. A 2 seed. Also, injuries could definitely hit this team really, really hard.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, and I normally don't call for that, but this roster definitely has a nice, healthy injury history. So that could play a factor too. Between Kyrie, KD, definitely Ben Simmons. Joe Harris is still out, I think.
He's supposed to be good for opening night. They just signed him out as a precaution. Steph Curry is kind of still healing. TJ Warren is still, like, the reports are he's feeling fine. They're just taking it really slow.
Okay.
But he should be good to go. But probably not opening night. Like, it feels like this roster probably won't really be fully healthy until like a month into the season. And by then you hope you don't have any other injuries.
Yeah. So I think that's where my mental is. And I also think if there is a team that also feels they have like a grace period in terms of we don't necessarily have to put our best basketball on the court for a while, they still can work out through some of the kinks going in.
I hope they don't feel like that, because if they do,
I was about to say,
that's the problem.
This isn't the team that should feel that way. They should try to get out there and hit the ground running in terms of figuring out their basketball identity.
I agree they should, but the mentality in that locker room could be drastically different. Based off
preseason, I think that's what they're trying to get to. What's our best brand of playing basketball? And as far as Ben Simmons being like a Russell Westbrook in this kind of scenario, I'm banking on it not happening. I think he'll be able to fit. I think it's more beneficial and it's more in his stock to make this work, to not be a headache or not be a locker room problem. And I think over the past year of how he left and departed with Philly, and that fallout, I don't think he's gonna come into his first playable year as a net and then that disruption happens as well. I can bank against it. Now, granted, it could happen, but I would heavily bet against that.
Fair. Just
off of sense. Now, we've seen people do nonsensical things all the time, a la Draymond, but I don't think Ben Simmons will pull this one off like that. I can definitely see the KD being frustrated because of Ben's inability to have an offensive arsenal. Like, in reality, KD, part of the reason he wants to leave OKC is because he said he wasn't around guys that were talented enough.
Fair.
And he meant talent in a very certain way. It was how you would score, how you would handle the ball. It was how you were offensively gifted. So these are things that Ben Simmons lacks. Like, he has the vision, of course, fast break. We always say that a lot of the intangibles about basketball, the IQ, but if that's not going to mesh, I would say if that's not going to mesh with arguably one of the top 5 greatest scorers of all time, and he's running the team in terms of the offense, that could be a problem. But I bet against that as well. So that's why I have them as my 2 seed.
That's fair.
This is where I have criticism of KD to some extent, though, is because like the whole OKC thing, the team wasn't talented enough, and okay, we could argue that to the moon. But like, even saying like this team, if we're going to go in that same vein where he meant the team's not talented enough, that's an absolute lie here. Because you have a ton of shooters. You have another ISO scorer who can go get his whenever he feels like it. Like, if your main detriment is going to be the fact that Ben Simmons can't go out there and get 20 a night.
Yeah, you just don't like Ben Simmons.
You just don't like Ben Simmons. Or a better conversation, you don't know how to adapt your game to Ben Simmons. Because that's honestly what it is sometimes. Like, sometimes as a player, you have to adapt to the personnel around you. you got, like I said, you couldn't. I'm not gonna say you couldn't do that with Westbrook, but there was problems with that in OKC with Westbrook and the team, the function. You went to Golden State where everything was perfect. It was the perfect scenario essentially, and now you're here where it's like you low key have a Golden State type-ish talent setup.
Yeah,
you just have to figure out how to make it work without Steph Curry on the floor. Like that's what you have to do as somebody who wants to consider himself the best player in the world. So I'm not gonna I can't accept that from Kevin Durant. Now, granted, would I be frustrated if I threw the ball to Ben Simmons on the block and it was a 6'5" guy on him and he didn't score? Absolutely. And I would probably go off in the film session and everything in between. But at the same time, you figure it out.
I would say this is what you got now.
Because I'm pretty sure Steph Curry, when he threw that pass to Draymond Green on the pick and roll in the playing game and he airballed a floater, was like, I wish I had somebody who could dunk that. Like, we all wish for certain things in a scenario. Like, you figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. So, no, this team should be good. Once again, I think if they get to the playoffs healthy, like, they should be a horrible matchup for every team in the playoffs. Like, there's no team that has enough defensive weapons to guard this team outside of maybe Boston. That's about it. So, nah.
Okay. Trying to think of anything else we need to add to the Eastern Conference. We didn't mention Cleveland or Atlanta. They're just on the outside looking in.
I think I got Hawks at 6.
I mean on the outside looking in terms of contender.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they're in the playoffs for sure. Contender wise, they're
an upset threat though.
Potentially.
Nah.
Potentially.
I don't like the Hawks upset. I got Hawks first round exit.
I like the Hawks.
My 4-5 is Brooklyn, Cleveland, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn, Cleveland. You got Bucks, Nets actually.
Yeah,
Nets.
right now the 7-2 for me would be Nets Hawks, so that's out the way.
Wow,
that's a crazy
first round. Nice first round.
It's crazy first round. I got Bucks Heat, which is crazy too. You got Celtics Cavs 4-5, but I got Hawks Nets in the third or in the first round, which I think is a very interesting matchup. Like.
I got Hawks next as well. Wait, and you said in the first round?
In the first round. I got Hawks as a 6.
And Nets at 3rd. Yeah, and I got Nets at 2 and Hawks at 7. I was like, how? What? All right, yeah.
So I just think that's a very interesting matchup with the moves. And I've watched Atlanta a lot this preseason. I like DeJounte Murray with Trae Young.
I mean, yeah.
Like, I think that has some very interesting potential.
Nets in 5.
Yeah, I mean, we said it during the...
I can compliment the Hawks, but I got to say it.
Like, the fact that they can throw DeJounte on Kyrie now, and like I said, you'll live with Kevin Durant and DeAndre Hunter. I mean, whatever it is, what it is. Kevin Durant's going to get his 30, unless it's the Celtics, I guess. Like, I just think that makes that matchup so much more interesting. And the fact that Trae Young has another ball handler makes it so much more dynamic for them to stop. Like, it's going to be so much more difficult to stop the Hawks this year than it's been in previous years. So...
Yeah,
I think that's a slippery game or a slippery series.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch. I haven't really watched him during the preseason, so I really don't know how receptive he's been to.
He's been playing off the ball really well.
He's enjoying it.
I'm not gonna say he's enjoying it, but
because it's 82 game season, B. That's my thought.
He's still getting plenty of touches. Like he's getting to rock, and they've actually done a decent job of like staggering their minutes at times. Like there's there'll be a 5-minute service where DeJounte just gets to go ham and Trae's on the bench, and then they'll swap it. Mm-hmm. But when they're on the floor together, like Trae will come off a pin down here and there. He'll come off an Iverson cut. Like there's been moments where it's like, that they're trying to figure this out. They're trying to make it work.
See, I'm gonna want to watch that during the regular season. See how that goes. See how consistent they can be with that.
Fair.
Because if once again, it becomes interesting. If that happens,
very much so,
very much Nets in 5, but it becomes interesting. So,
I can see that going 7. Is all I'm saying.
That goes 7.
You sitting up here talking about Nets implosion so much.
No, but it did what I said it would do.
I feel you.
You know, implosion.
I feel you.
For people who's listening, I did the.
I just want to know who's guarding Trae Young and DeJounte in that series. That's all I'm asking.
Whatever. I'm not even gonna go there. Yeah. We're like, okay, we can just live with DeAndre Hunter on KD, but who's guarding Trae Young and DeJounte Murray? whoever. We'll live with whoever guard Trey.
So, and once again, we've had this discussion before where I've always said, like, where Kevin Durant is an all-time scorer, one of the greatest of all time to ever do it easily. There is a thing of the way he scores doesn't always destroy your team in the way a guy like Jokic scores, in the way a guy like Trae Young can score, because while they score, they're also an elite playmaker and they're collapsing your defense consistently. Kevin Durant often doesn't do that. He's an ISO dude. He catches on the elbow, he raises up, he faces. Boom. Over and over and over and over again. That doesn't collapse your defense as much as it does.
I'll get on the other end. It demoralizes your defense when you can't stop one man getting to his spot and doing whatever he wants. Only
if you can't keep up scoring wise. Like if Trae Young is coming,
keep up scoring wise with the Nets. We just listed their list of weapons.
Huh? Fair, but the Hawks have tons of weapons as well. Like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are both 20 and 10 dudes. Like
okay,
easily.
And we got
DeAndre Hunter is 15 points.
Let's take the top two out, and then what? Let's just take KD and Kyrie out. Let's take DeJounte and Trae out.
What do you mean?
And we're talking about scoring ability, right? You're talking about keeping up with the Nets.
I said shooting, which is way different than scoring ability. Okay. Those are two different things.
All right, so you're just talking about shooting.
If we're talking pure shooting ability, well, that means those guys, Steph Curry, Joe Harris, they rely on Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and Kevin Durant to create for them. First off, when it comes to the Hawks, they have almost as many dudes who can create their own shots as the Nets do once you take out the top two. Bogdanovich, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins. Like, let's not act like the Hawks don't have a ton of weapons on that team.
I'm not calling that 7 games versus this team.
I feel you. Once again,
Mob.
Like I said, it may be 5. I'm just saying I think that's an interesting matchup for the Nets.
We're both sitting here wondering if they're going to even get into that first round because they're in the play-in.
I got them at the 6, so I don't
you got them at 6, so I got them at 7. So we're still flirting around that edge.
That's fair.
But that can get pushed to 7? I don't know. That's all I'm saying. The math ain't math for me.
Kyrie going to have to guard somebody in that series.
Somebody got to guard Kyrie.
DeJounte Murray's one of the best defenders in the league.
He is. You still got to guard him.
That's fair, but
I've seen him put 35 on the best defenders, 40 on the best defenders. You know what's crazy about this?
We had this exact same conversation about the Celtics last year.
Yeah, the Celtics are a way better team than the Hawks.
But the problems that existed with that matchup are the same ones I'm saying exist
that
here.
With the Hawks, I don't think it's
the same
exposed.
Ones. Huh?
I don't think it's nowhere near exposed. I don't think the Hawks can expose those things. I don't think the Hawks are as good of a team. If you're willing to say that the Hawks can push them to 7, I don't think the Hawks should be sitting there at 6 seed. That's what I'm saying.
Not necessarily. Once again, we've all sat here and said the East is really talented and really loaded. Every team I have ahead of them is a good team.
You got it.
The Heat, Bucks, Nets, Celtics, and 76ers. Those are all teams. 3 of those we say are contenders.
I just feel like 7 is a lot, but that's all I can say about that one.
7's a lot. 7 is a lot. That's a full list.
He said I was crazy when I said the Celtics could beat the Nets last year.
Hey, man. Do we care about Cleveland? I mean, they're going to be good.
Chilling right there in the middle of the pack.
They're chilling 7. Like I said, I think they'll
be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fun. I think they're going to need a year to figure it out, and they still need another defensive wing to really be a threat.
Okay. All right, let's move on then, man. That's our Eastern Conference predictions, preview, whatever. Y'all let us know if we got this right or wrong. Who you rolling with? Which list you rolling with? Drop your list in below so we can chew that up, spit that out as well. NBA awards. I also don't have this list in front of me. No, I got mine in front of me. I don't got y'all's.
I got mine.
Okay, good. Everybody got theirs. So we're gonna do this differently when we did the other one. We're gonna go through each award and we're gonna name off our MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, so forth and so on. And yeah, let's begin. MVP. I got Jason Tatum.
Embiid.
Luka Doncic.
I can't hate y'all for y'all. I think those are real ones. I think Luka could be the MVP without being the 1 seed. I'll say that. I'll say that.
I respect that too.
That's fair. I can go with that. It wouldn't shock me.
The smart money would be on him being MVP, and then the risk money is getting. Yeah. We know that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I want to make sure we differentiate based upon what you talked about last week. Because
Because the fact that we just all named the best player on number 1 seeds to get an MVP. He got the 76ers as the number 1 seed in the East. He picked Embiid. You got the Celtics as the number 1 seed in the East. You picked Jason Tatum. I have the Mavs number 1 seed in the West. I picked Luka. The only difference is I honestly think Luka is the only one who can really make a case for getting MVP and end up being the 4th or 5th seed on this list.
That's facts. But
I think he has the strongest case out of it because it's not always tied in. Not necessarily. I mean, he has the worst team out of the 3.
That's
the least expectations, but like we're still talking about an individual award in terms of what he can do. So, and mind you,
if bro is the 2nd or 3rd seed,
it's locked in. I
think it's pretty much
locked in. It is
because that means he went ham. Like that's the only way that's happening.
I cannot in any right.
I got him flirting with 30 and 10 this year. Now, I ain't saying he getting 30 and 10, but flirting with it.
Yeah.
29, 8.7 or whatever you want to say the numbers look like.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think Jason Tatum needs the 1 seed to get the MVP. Once I made it, I was like, all right, he has to be the MVP. Like, there's no way around it if that was to happen. So that's why I got.
Nah, I think if the Celtics get MVP, he's definitely finishing top 3 in voting.
Yeah. And Embiid.
I think Embiid, like I said, I think the 76ers, if they get the 1 seed, I think Embiid, I feel like the voters are going to have a little bit of guilt.
because of the last couple years.
He hasn't gotten it recently.
I hate that.
I mean, I do too, but if he averages 30 and 10 again on the number 1 seed, it's deserving. So, like I said, the voters might have a little bit of guilt, and I think they'll, like I said, if 76ers get the 1 seed, he's going to average anywhere between 27 and 30, 10, 12 boards. He's got it. So,
he's not on anyone's list, but there is a world where I see Jokic winning this again.
Nah. I thought about that earlier.
There is a world where I see.
I just don't have him beating out all of the other guys this year.
And I got the Nuggets as the 1 seed, and I don't think that's going to happen.
If Nuggets the 1 seed,
if they improve win wise, and he's able to still
continue that what he did last year.
Like, there is a world he wins this again.
Well, with Jamal coming back.
I don't think he'll continue what he did last year simply due to the fact that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. on the floor is going to take away a little bit of his numbers. And then to top it all off, people are literally just going to view it as, well, now you have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. averaging 20 apiece. Like,
if my man is getting,
you're okay.
If my man is getting 28, 12, and 9 with the 2 seed, and those offensive analytics, and all the advanced
the numbers are always going to favor him to some extent.
I think you got enough people in that voting room to rationalize him walking away with
voter fatigue is a thing.
I think that's nasty.
It is, but it's very much a thing. We've seen it for years. We saw it with LeBron. Like I said, we can say we saw it with Steph to some extent. Like, we've seen it quite often throughout NBA history where voters are just like, you know what? We've given you your due. We saw it with MJ. Like, we've given you your due. We got to give somebody else a chance.
Yeah. Here you go, Charles Barkley.
Karl Malone.
I don't know, man. That Charles
was amazing.
Charles that year was
saying,
the Karl Malone one I'm willing to rock with. That Charles
MVP year,
that Charles year was different.
I feel you.
That finals was different.
Hey, yo.
Hey, real talk, that finals was not bad, though.
It was a good final.
Like, that finals was back and forth, nip and tuck the entire way.
Good.
Charles just didn't have a Scotty.
I mean, you're fair. Those were definitely a better team. But I'm always make fun of all of them.
I feel you.
Oh, man.
I feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him. What?
Feel bad for him.
You wasting your sympathy.
Rookie of the year.
Because I want him to be a Scott. I wanted him to get a Scotty, not a Kevin Johnson, a Scotty.
I don't know.
Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson was a good player.
Kevin Johnson was a good player.
You just had to guard Jordan.
Like, but no, he needed a Scotty.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how I said that certain players I don't want to get a ring because I don't know how they'll act after they get it.
Yeah, you said Chris Paul.
Charles Barkley's in that list.
You hated Chris Paul out of a ring, so yeah.
He might be that guy. He might be another one. Like, I don't know if I could trust him with that kind of power.
You're right.
The way he be talking crazy. Now without it.
That's crazy. You're right. You know what? Yeah, I rescind what I said. Never
mind. Rookie of the year. I got Keegan Murray.
I think we both got Banchero.
Yeah, I think I got Banchero. I'm mad at Keegan, but I don't trust anything coming from Sacramento. So
you trust something coming from Orlando?
To win a Rookie of the Year in this case, yeah, I had to pick one or the other. Right now, I'm going to pick Paolo, I think he's going to have the keys for Orlando to do whatever he wants down there. It's not going to be Keegan's team with Sacramento, so
that is true.
That's just going to be a reflection on that. So,
no, I definitely went dark horse in terms of Keegan Murray.
Shooting the lights out. If he wants to shoot 40-something% from three during the season, he might just win it.
But I'm more in line with your thinking. Like, I just don't think he's going to get enough touches in Sacramento to really put up the numbers needed. Like, Banchero's going to get the keys. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants. But I will say, I do think Keegan's going to be a better winning player out the gate than Banchero is.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's already showing that.
Yeah.
Just because of things he's able to do. But like,
I mean, the things that you expect from him to do as well. Like his role is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roles are definitely different. I do think Paolo definitely comes in garnering more touches.
Franchise on your back.
Garnering
like,
more.
Do whatever you want.
There's nobody there to take them away from you. So
yeah.
And that's
but I do think there is an element to where Keegan Murray being kind of this ready-made pro to some extent. He's still a rookie, so he's still going to have to go do some bumps and stuff. But sort of kind of this ready-made pro then come in, be an effective player on a winning situation. If that was to happen, if Sacramento was to be decent, based upon what we've seen, now they got Mike Brown there, all that in the third. I can see him pulling votes and possibly sneaking this award.
No Jabari?
Nah.
Houston's too bad.
Nah.
And unfortunately, he's playing with Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr.
And they are going to shoot.
That's what I thought about.
But
I thought about
shout out Jalen Green though,
Ivy.
because he looks really good.
Oh no, Jalen Green is different.
He looks like he
looks really good
different.
right now.
I'm like, all right, put my stock into the right one. I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one to really.
Let's go hit this year. He's averaging 20.
And I'm a wild out.
This year.
I'm gonna be like, I told y'all, but yeah, I thought about Jaden Ivey as well, but then the same thing with the Pistons having Cade. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you have other people who actually are going to be in front of you in the pecking order, it's going to be really hard as to get that with Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but also super young too. Like it isn't like Jalen Green's 30. He's 30. About the same.
They're not giving up touches yet.
They're your same age. They just came out maybe even younger. You know what I mean?
So I think yeah, I agree with that. But I think Jabari in time will, and we said this about him during our draft and all that talk, like we said about, like, I think in time we'll see how effective he will be for that franchise. But he didn't get this award. All right, most improved.
Maxey.
I have Tyrese Maxey.
I'm dark horsing again. I picked Cade. I don't like what this award has come to. I think this is because of Ja getting it last year. I don't know what they're doing with this award.
Well, I agree with you, but I don't think that has anything to do with any of our picks for this one. I don't think Ja and Maxey are in parallel. I think the wilder thing is you picking a sophomore to win most improved player.
Well, how so?
I mean, Tyrese is third.
But geez.
Year 3.
You go from rookie to most improved off rip?
What was Cade's numbers last season?
Like 16, 5 and 5 or something like that.
I could definitely see him coming out of this season on some 20, 21, 7 and 7 kind of numbers, bro.
If he do something wild like that,
I can definitely see
17, 5
I've
and 5.
rescinded my entire statement.
That's almost what he averaged for the last
thank you. I was just about to get to that.
Month and some change of the season.
Like, I can definitely see him doing that.
I don't have Cade winning it.
That's cool. I mean, obviously,
you know what? I have him getting the numbers before I got him winning it, and maybe that's the conversation about the award and what it has come to. But generally, it has been like a kind of bubble or turn award. Mm-hmm. Like you're about to hit that next level or next stage, or you just took that next step in your career kind of award where it elevates like that. So for like my runner up, I have Anthony Simons, who I understand that you might look at it the same way as Tyrese Maxey or somebody like that. But
no, that one makes more sense because we've seen Anthony, and maybe this is like me storylining it a bit.
Because he's been in the year for what, 5, 6
exactly.
years?
But we've seen he's been in the league for 5, 6 years. We know he had this potential in terms of like, he could be a special basketball player if given opportunities. So you could see him gradually grow. And then if he has this burst of a year to where it's like, he's averaging
I mean, I would
CJ McCollum-esque numbers.
I would say that was last year. He went from having 8 points to 18.
And mind you, last year was the year that I was saying of course, I don't think any of us like that job pick from last year. But last year he was a name I was mentioning. That's why I brought him up here.
Right. And so in that regard, if he comes back and he goes from 18 to 23, like, okay, we missed last year. Everyone hated last year. Let's go and get back and get Anthony. I guess I could see that.
The reason why I didn't like you picking the upcoming sophomore, because I think with these awards, as we know, there's a little bit of narrative and base kind of influence off of them. So you just said we watched Anthony go from boom, 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 even though this is 5-6 years in, we watched the growth. Tyrese Maxey, I saw the jump from the regular season. I saw pre-Harden. I saw the jump from the regular season to the playoffs, and I'll be able to see the jump from playoffs until now, this next entire regular season.
Okay.
With Cade, you have Rookie of the Year award, your number 1 pick. We expect this of you, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't necessarily call, and I understand improvement, but I wouldn't put that for that award over the guys that I just mentioned. It's more of a preference. So I'm not saying Cade didn't improve or wouldn't have improved over the year. He's not capable of making that big jump, or that it's not something that we should applaud. It's not something that we're going to reward as the NBA in terms of an actual award.
Okay. All right. So question. Tyrese Maxey averaged 17.5 points, 4 assists, shooting 42% from the 3, 48% from the field. What do you think his number's going to look like this season? Because if you just tell me 20 on the same splits, then I'm going to say
his volume is going to increase, and I think that the splits aren't really going to change too much.
Right.
So yeah, it's probably going to
about a 3-point improvement.
3.
I got him averaging like 23, 24.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll say 22.
Okay. So,
I got him averaging about 22.
Okay. Now I'm cool with it. I can live with that. But if you told me he was just going to, if you were going to give me
go from 17 to 20.
17 to 20.
Oh, no, I think he's averaging close to 22. It could end up with 21 point something.
7 and 7.
Yeah.
Even if they're losing. He's out here proving I'm a budding superstar. Like off his sophomore year.
I think Maxey's averaging like 23, 24, 4 and 4.
Okay.
I'll take like a point off of that, and I agree with everything else. I think, if he's averaging 23, I mean, he could, honestly, but.
And he's going to be on a winning team.
On arguably the number 1 seed.
Like, while I do think Detroit has a lot of interesting pieces now, they're still.
No, I don't expect them to win.
A 12 seed at best.
I don't expect them to win. But if like I said, if a guy averages going from 17, 5 and 5 to
21, 7, 7, 7. I see what you mean.
I genuinely look at him and go, that's possible.
I feel it is. Cade has that type of game.
Cade has that type of game. And because he's in Detroit,
he has all the shots in the world.
All shots in the world.
It's his offense. He's going to run the show.
But also, I think, they're not going to be paid any mind either. And I think that's the unfairness to it too. Like, no one's going to pay him any mind. If he does 21, 7 and 7, I don't care if NBA give him the award or not. He's my most improved. Like, I don't care.
No, I respect that. I respect that.
I'll say that.
I respect that.
I don't know what this award's supposed to look like after that job thing. I don't know what this award.
They don't know what it's supposed to look like. It's kind of been using like a supplement award, as in, I can't give you anything else, but you deserve something for this year. That's what most improved has been looking like sometimes. But I mean, sometimes they get it right. Like I said, I thought Brandon Ingram deserved most improved that 1 year.
Julius Randle deserved it 1 year.
Yeah, it's just here and there. It's just about the narrative that year. Yeah. But Ja Morant last year, it's not that he didn't deserve an award. It's just most improved didn't fit.
Yeah.
And I felt like they felt as if they had to give him something.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair.
All right, D-Boy. Defensive Player of the Year, where we at?
Herb Jones.
I like that one. I went with risky. I went with Ben Simmons. Okay. I feel like he's all in on a defensive end with the Nets. And if they're going to be the number 2 seed, and we said that's where his impact's going to be, before you got hurt your last 2 years playing, you were first team all defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I initially wrote Robert Williams.
You did?
I had peeped that, and I was wondering if you knew about I knew about his health situation, but I thought if he came back and they were the 1 seed, and I'm trying to just be consistent, I'm like, all right, he had to do something. Wow, because he is their anchor on that side of the floor.
Absolutely,
they get MVP and D-Boy. That would have been wow.
But
2016, no, Draymond didn't win that.
Nah, he didn't.
He won the year after.
But I'm gonna take a step back off that.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a step back.
Amendment.
I ain't mad at it.
I teach way too much government.
And I'm gonna take a step back away from my dark horse, and I'm gonna say Rudy. Because
I thought about Rudy.
Because if he manages,
that's what I thought too. I was like, he might do the stuff.
If he makes Minnesota
top five defense,
he's definitely going to be in the combo.
I cannot disrespect that because we know how bad that defense is.
No, we were talking about it all the time, and I was wondering. I was like, should I put Rudy down? And I was like, I wouldn't vote for Rudy anymore because I'm tired.
Over Rudy.
That's
and
what
granted,
I mean.
he may have that type of impact, and it's just going to be like, whatever. We'll see it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's how voters are going to feel about it now, which is unfair, but
nah, man. Like, I think a little bit of that voter fatigue is taken away since he's moved.
Switch teams.
I feel you. So, like, now you're going to a different.
I think you're going to see a big PR campaign in Minnesota. And it's about that. Like, it's going to be. You do. Cat and D-Lo are like, man, we've never played with a guy like this.
If it's top 5,
you better hit the 3.
Come on, dog.
I feel you.
Like,
I'm with it.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Like, the crazy part is, before Draymond took off on Poole, I had Draymond as my decoy. And now I don't even know if he's going to finish the season there. So I went with Herb Jones. I do think that's definitely a dark horse pick. But, like, for anybody that watched New Orleans last year, this dude has scary defensive potential.
Yeah.
Like, the lane, he's so disruptive. Like, he plays in the lanes really well. Great one-on-one defender. Like, there's almost nothing he can't do on the defensive end. And I do feel like there's a very big, like, PR hype around New Orleans this year where, like, everybody's kind of really pushing them to the forefront of the conversation with Zion and B.I. Like, people really feel like this should be a really good team. They want to see them succeed.
Y'all heard what Perk said?
Nah, I didn't know that.
Perk said Zion win an MVP.
Zion win an MVP?
But that's part of it. That's part of it. Like, that's my reason. But I just don't think Zion can realistically win. One, I don't think he's going to play enough games. I'm sorry. He already turned his ankle. Like,
oh, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, it's just, I want to believe in it. And when I see him on the court, it still just looks so freakish. And it's like, yo, this dude is just out of this world. But it's hard for me to I said it 3 years ago. I'm not having a real Zion top 5 conversation until he plays 65 games. I just can't do it. So if he plays 65 games this year, I'm going to walk on this pod and be like, Zion's one of the top 10 players in the world. And we'll go from there. But I just don't think he's going to play enough games to realistically win MVP. B.I.'s not going to win an MVP. They don't have a 6th man of the year. Like, they just don't have anybody that's going to be up for any other award but Herb Jones.
And they're going to be in a good enough spot to have that spotlight on them. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
And they were a really good defensive team last year. I think they're going to be a pretty decent one this year. Like, it's my dark horse pick. I would give it a 40% chance of happening. Because y'all get mad at my percentages.
Your percentage on that is way too high. Herb Jones shouldn't be the favorite to win depoy.
I don't think that's just...
If he has 40 alone and you're splitting it between other candidates, that is ridiculous.
Let's not.
Crazy.
Let's like, no, 40% is...
2 out of 5, B?
It's ridiculous, bro.
Dog, if we walked another person in here and we said 2 people getting shot.
Nah, man, nah. We're it's math. It's math. That's what it is. I don't think you mean the things you're saying, guys, but you're just throwing out way too high a percentage.
History teacher.
Yeah, that's what it is.
History. Civics.
Yeah. I'm going to take that to mean like...
I view that as a 60% chance he won't win, which is more of a majority.
But
like, that's how I view it.
You're not
Y'all are viewing it as each individual person is going to have a lesser chance in, which is fine.
But you're saying he has... When you say he has 40% chance to win it, it's him or the field. Exactly. So you're saying the field only has, that means the collective Simmons, of Rudy everybody else 30 only have 60% chance.
There's still a better chance that the field will win, yes.
No.
But then you have to split their, you got to split, now you got to split the field.
I'm still saying the field would win. Like,
I see what you're meaning, but the numbers are still
I feel y'all
wrong.
like,
they're awfully wrong.
Brian,
but at least get your sentiment
you name
now.
The person though, that's the thing. Like, if he has 40, that means there has to be other people in the field that they don't each have 60.
No, of course not.
Right, but
so they all
him the 40.
They all equal to 60.
I give him individually the best chance, yes, to win.
That's
exactly. It's not a dark horse then.
But at least that explains it a little bit more.
I just don't feel like people are talking about him winning.
Okay.
I give him a 40% chance. I think individually he has the best chance. But I still think the field could win out. There I am. Yeah. Have I explained it well enough?
No, you explained it.
I just don't agree
the math
with you now.
doesn't make math.
We got it.
If another person walked in here and they said 2 people were getting shot.
I don't like those odds. That's life or death.
High.
That's life or death. Is the point though.
That's what
That's the
This is
point.
picking an
That's the
award.
point.
Like
No,
if somebody
it's
walked
the
in here
sign.
and was like, Taman has 40% chance to get shot out of everybody else in this room. That does not mean that,
Oh, I'm good.
you know what I mean?
One of y'all getting shot.
I mean, it would
It's
make
to me,
it would
if
make
I'm
me
sitting
worried,
here,
but
I'm like,
it would make me if somebody said I had a 40% chance of getting shot in this room, I'd be like, ah, man, I'm worried. But
you're the favorite.
But Joe-
You're the favorite. I'm not sitting next to you. I'm worried that like, I might get hit with this.
like I would be worried, but I would be like,
You're the target.
It's not gonna
You are
happen.
the target.
I feel you. I'm not saying y'all are wrong. I'm just sitting there saying, one,
Bro.
would I be worried?
Bro.
Yes. 2, I would also be like,
No. There is no 2.
It's
There's
probably
no 2.
not still.
I think the Warriors don't have a 40% chance to win the chip this year.
it's
That's how percentages are working
It's
in my head.
1, Brian is worried that he may get shot. It's 2, Brian got shot. That's it. That's the odds, bro. It's you.
Not the odds. There's a 60% chance I did it.
No, but Brian has 40% chance of getting shot.
You're right, but there's a 60% chance I did
But
it.
there's no I have a 60% chance. Or
That's what
Greg
we're
has
saying.
60% chance, or
Yo,
John
I'm
has
not saying y'all are wrong. I'm simply saying y'all said 40% chance here. Boom. Cool. I'm worried.
I mean,
no
the
doubt.
target's
But if there's
super
a
on
60% chance it can be any of you. I don't care how you break down the percentages.
If
No,
it's
it's still a
breakdown, that
60.
means Keith gets 20, I get 20, he gets 20.
That's it. I
You're
am
still
the most
mass favorite.
You're right.
And
I'm
that's
the
all right.
favorite.
You should
But I'm
assume
still
you're getting
the
shot, is what
field
we're
would
saying.
say there's still a 60%
There's still a
chance
more
it
likelihood
won't be
that
me.
somebody else in this room gets hit other than Brian. I understand that math is correct. What I'm trying to say is when you're talking about awards and you're trying to use it like that, you know what? Forget that. Forget the math. I think I'm just going to disagree. Herb Jones shouldn't be the favorite.
That's fair.
I don't know what
And that's
percentage
a-
you're giving
that's
him,
great.
but he shouldn't have the highest percentage out of anybody in the
I
NBA to
rock
win
with it.
Depoy.
Brian,
I rock with it.
Brian, at 40% run, bro. Leave the room.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you're
need to
getting
get in your
shot,
car and
dog.
evade. Evade.
Somebody told me I got a
Run
40%
zigzag.
chance of like hitting the lottery.
Bro.
I'm selling everything I own, taking all my money out the bank, and I'm going to buy lotto tickets. Those
Oh
percentages are way too high.
Gosh,
Yes,
bro.
40%. You are shot.
You a funny guy. Man.
That's
We're gonna get you odds right.
Yeah, we got to have a whole segment.
Watch Herb Jones win MVP.
All right.
If he does, man, I apologize about all your math. Like I'm
I'm
all
not
the
apologizing.
You're still
He
wrong.
see something I don't see.
No,
Herb
bro,
Jones
that
wins it.
Just because he
Maybe
got
he
it
did
right
have
don't
a
mean he put the
40%
work
chance.
right.
I don't know. I
can't
give
quantify this.
partial credit.
Right. He gets partial credit
Yeah.
for sure, but his work was wrong.
The work was way
His
off.
work was
But
wrong.
the answer was right.
Yeah, I was about to say the answer matters more than the work.
Maybe
Agreed.
maybe y'all
All
math
right.
was
But he
off.
didn't have to bring
Maybe
up the
y'all
work.
math was off. Y'all
You're-
should-
you're-
y'all
yeah.
y'all
It was multiple choice.
substituted the wrong variables. All I'm saying.
I don't think we
Nah,
did,
bro.
but
Nah, bro.
I'll
Next
just let
time-
you have that one.
Yeah, we're just gonna start adjusting your odds for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, nah. This man did PEMDAS backwards.
Yeah, man. Inside out.
All right, 6 man in the year. 6 man.
We all had Poole.
All had Poole. It's his
The one other name that I will throw out is Malcolm Brogdon.
Fair.
But
I like that.
other than that, it should be Poole by a landslide.
It's his
He
award
should
to
be
lose.
averaging
Is
20
it-
something off
Is
the
it
bench.
Poole because it's Poole, or is it Poole?
It's Poole because it's Poole. It's Poole because it's Poole.
I was just joking.
Yeah, it's Poole because it's Poole. But no, that's a real question now.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that that's the case.
No, he was the favorite
I don't think sympathy
since
will play a
last
part at
year
all.
to
I
win it
was
this
joking.
year. Yeah.
But no, it's fine. But yeah, Poole. It's
But
Poole's the loser.
Brogdon's the only one I think that can challenge him. If the Celtics do end up doing exactly what you're saying that they're capable of, it could go Jason Tatum MVP, Depoy, 6 man of the year to Malcolm Brogdon. Instead of
see.
Depoy to like somebody like Rob Williams who might not play enough games. But I just don't bank on the Celtics doing exactly what you expressed. But we all got Jordan Poole being Jordan Poole for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's all he has to do. If
That
he's
literally
him,
is
if
that.
he's him, this is his award.
This is his award to lose.
I don't see a space where it's not. Coach of the year?
What percent chance we give Russell Westbrook winning 6 man?
6 man of the year.
I don't even want to do that because your
I feel
odds
like
are
that's
nasty.
the-
So
you
I
know
don't
what?
even.
I don't wanna play Brody like that.
I'm gonna give him a
I just don't wanna
50%
play him like
chance.
that.
I'm gonna give him a 50% chance.
That is
That he
stop.
won
joking.
6 man of the
I'm joking.
year?
I'm joking.
Just stop saying
I'm
numbers.
joking.
Yeah. I just feel like if I don't know, anything I say about Russ and 6 man of the year is gonna be real disrespectful. So I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
I mean, what if he averages 18, 7, and 7 off the bench?
Then the Lakers should be going to the finals.
Fair. No, I watched him average 18, 7, and 7 last year.
Off the bench?
He's still gonna play the same minutes. Like, let's cut the
okay, yeah, if it looks the same. See, 18, 7, and 7 off the bench better look different.
Get my man Brody a 6-man.
But yeah,
yes,
he's not going to be in contention for 6-man.
No, he's not winning 6-man of the year.
Coach of the year?
Y'all both had Ty Lue. Yeah. I got Mike Malone.
Mike Malone?
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that pick. I think Mike Malone is definitely up there. I got T. Lue, even though we talk about if the Mavs making the number 1 seed, why didn't I have Jason Kidd? And shout out to
very true. That won't add up. If Mavs win the 1 seed,
and that's
Kidd
why
is the coach of the year.
I brought today my mindset of how am I about to explain this? And to be honest, I think that number 1 seed is going to rely heavily. Like I said, it's going to be a Luka-led season, and it's not even going to be a diss to Jason Kidd because I, came on this pod and I said Jason Kidd and Luka are going to have a connection years ago.
Yeah. When
Kidd was getting thrown out by y'all.
Yeah, I said it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, now
I was wrong on that one.
You're off of your conference finals appearance. Everybody's saying they have this actual connection. So why couldn't you be up for coach of the year? And I thought about it and I was like, this isn't where Kidd doesn't win it because he doesn't win it. It's T. Lue does such of a great, amazing job. You really can't give it to anybody else.
But
and I understand this is what we're saying about Dallas and everything like that. But I think you're going to have to make more changes throughout the year, different kind of lineups throughout the year, different kind of adjustments throughout the year. You're going to have to deal with multiple kind of injuries that you're going to maintain throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So the Clippers pulling off that 2 seed, I think is going to be off of a better coaching job in my opinion. And I know it doesn't add up when you're looking at it face level from just seeding.
I'm gonna simplify it once he's done.
But I appreciate it if you can. But you're the guy who didn't say the Mavs were number 1, so I had to just explain that one away.
No,
I got you. I'm with you. I'm just
coaching is coach of the year.
Watch this. Taman said that Jason Kidd's gonna roll out the ball to Luka.
And Luka's gonna carry them to the 1 seed.
I mean, I heard it. I heard what he was saying. To me,
that's what he said. He said J. Kidd's rolling the ball out. Said, "Go do your thing, young blood." That's what he's saying. I also
didn't want to dismiss the fact that I think Jason Kidd was a great coach for them last year, and I thought he was going to be a good influence on Luka. So I didn't want to be
a great coach for the Clippers last year. Like they just had no talent.
Not fair.
Now he has. People are saying it's the most talented roster in the NBA.
They're deep.
So
they're deep.
You're saying Ty Lue having a worse record with a more talented roster is going to look better than Jason Kidd having a better record.
At face value. But that's not.
I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not the point I was making. But if you wanted to take it like that, I guess at face value, yeah, somebody could strip it, but that's not the inferences I was making on T. Lue.
Yeah.
Wasn't the depth of his team or anything like that, because when you have a lot of these pieces, you also have to work them in well and make them gel. So it's not like just having an all-star roster or whatever you're going to call the depth of the Clippers. It's just going to automatically equate to wins. You still have to manage that as well.
But I would say, and maybe it's because I'm just viewing the Coach of the Year award. Like we've seen the Coach of the Year award consistently go to
generally number 1. Record. Yeah, the best record on the
85, 90% of the time it goes to the best record. So
and once again, and you could take the conversation I made about the most improved, and you could throw it here on the Coach of the Year, and like, what are we actually
doing? What you're looking for? Yeah,
because that's
what was it 2-3 years ago?
Well, Monty,
I was like, that was Monty's award.
Yeah.
Like that was his award.
I thought everybody. I think they were 2 seed that year.
What team you talking about?
It was the Suns.
The Suns. I think it was that finals year.
I think it was the finals year. He didn't get it. Who got that award? Tom Thibodeau? No, was it Thibodeau?
Was it Coach?
Who got Coach of the Year that year?
Was the Bucks Coach?
Not Budenholzer.
Budenholzer didn't win it that year.
No, not that year.
Who they get that award to? I think it was Tibbs, bro.
Tibbs didn't win it. Did Tibbs win it?
No, Monty won. Oh, Monty won it last year.
Yeah,
Monty
they gave him a makeup.
Yeah, it was Thibodeau. It was Thibodeau.
Yeah, it was Tibbs.
That was
Thibodeau.
Trash.
Crazy. Then it was Nick Nurse. Then Budenholzer. Then Dwayne Casey, Mike D'Antoni, Steve Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know that was
consistently. It's been that.
Consistently, it's been.
But based upon what Monty did, adding a Chris Paul and then making that team
it should have been Monty,
and then them elevating past what we expected them to. We're like, all right, give that man his award. Stop playing with us like that. Like we did not expect them to do that. None of us expect them to be a 1 seed.
Fair.
So and then we gave it to the Knicks.
Like, cut
the
that.
Knicks had their first playoff appearance.
We don't care.
Gross. It doesn't matter, bro. Like
saying.
that is not worthy of a
And
coach
Tibbs
of the
coaching
year
of all
award.
people.
That's
I
not
mean,
worthy of a coach of the year award.
If you
That
told
is not
somebody,
worthy.
If you told somebody your best player was Julius Randle and you got the 4 seed, you wouldn't say that's an amazing coaching job.
I would have been like, what the rest of the East looks like. Because
mean,
that sounds like a very
it's still
regular
just
East
crazy.
years for what we got used to.
That's not worthy. No, I'm sorry. No, not when we saw what Phoenix did that year.
No, and the last little point I would make about T. Lou, not to cut you off,
Go ahead.
is just the fact that sometimes, like we saw with Monty, it's about your due. Like, it's about time that you get recognized and that you get that award. And it might not always make sense because it's narrative driven or it's more emotionally based, but
That's fair.
T. Lou has been doing a phenomenal, amazing coaching job for
Absolutely.
how many years?
Yeah, since he's been the Clippers coach, he's made it work.
I mean, even with the Cavaliers team, we always want to throw a whole lot of that on LeBron and them, but T. Lou definitely was a part of that team and making it work. So sometimes it's a combination of things, and I just got it all playing out for T. Lou this year.
Nah, I'm with it. I'm with that in terms of the things that Lou is going to have to manage. This roster is really good.
Yeah, they're talented and deep.
Does it mesh right away?
It looks like it.
Maybe.
But I think he still has to manage in terms of minutes, in terms of guys
Kawhi coming
being
back.
effective, all that in the third. And the West is tough. Like, as talented as this roster looks, the West is tough, and some of these other teams have a little more chemistry involved. So when you have that, now if you find a way to be I had him at 1, I think. If you find to be the 1 seed, for me, you're like, go ahead and get that man an award. Cut this out. And we've all touted him as one of the 2, if not 3 best coaches in the NBA.
Absolutely.
And going back, there's some due that should be coming his way. So
I feel like everything y'all are saying about Ty Lue, I can say about Mike Malone, though.
that's fair.
And I think he's facing, obviously, the same kind of issues. You have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. coming back off injury. They've added a lot of new pieces between KCP and Bruce Brown. Bones Highland's a young and up-and-coming player. Like, everything y'all are saying about the Clippers, I could easily say about Mike Malone. And since I have the Nuggets being the 1 seed over the Clippers, like, that would be my reasoning that Mike Malone is going to win that award. So,
No, that's understandable.
No, makes all sense.
but amazing coaches all the way around.
Yeah, man.
All of the above.
Yeah, I give Ty Lue a 45% chance.
That's a good chance, man. It's a good chance. Not the favorite, but a good chance. Field still wins.
All right, y'all. I think we're done. I think we got through everything. Shout out to y'all for sticking with us. NBA awards. Y'all let us know who's winning MVP, most improved, rookie of the year, 6-man, defensive player, coach of the year. Y'all let us know. Y'all drop y'all list below in the chat or on social. We appreciate all those who's been commenting on the short videos and on the trailers we putting out on Instagram. Follow us there on TikTok, wherever. We love all the conversation, no matter where we're having it, whether it's on the YouTube or over there. So we appreciate y'all. As always, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. Be safe. We out.
I'm just going to start throwing out wild percentages every time now.
He's been doing
No.